I think we actually might have just seen the worst call in the entire history of sport. And like, this is a shock that it is actually not DiJonai Carrington committing a flagrant foul. DiJonai Carrington got flagrantly fouled.
The Chase center clock showed 1:48 when the season tilted on a stray rebound. Dallas trailed 82-85. Every possession a lifeline. Janelle Salaun's corner three clanged long and skipped toward the sideline. DiJonai Carrington, seeing it ricochet chest high, eased off the gas and did the savvy veteran thing. She shielded the ball, arms wide, hips square, letting gravity escort it harmlessly out of bounds for Dallas possession. Then came the blur in the black face mask. Valkyries guard Tiffany Hayes sprinted blindside, vaulted straight into Carrington's back, and both players somersaulted into row one, wiping out a startled gray-haired season ticket holder. The arena inhaled, waiting for the obvious whistle on Hayes. Instead, the lead official raised a clenched fist, pointed at Carrington, and signaled blocking. Chase center erupted. Dallas went numb. Carrington sat stunned on the hardwood, hands spread in the universal. What did I do? While Hayes...
DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai.
So the ball gets swung. Janelle Salaun shoots the ball. It's coming out. So DiJonai Carrington is just shielding the ball out of bounds. She's just shielding the ball out of bounds, as you do. And Tiffany Hayes tackles her to the ground.
Calmly laced up at the stripe. 2 free throws splashed, the margin jumped to 5, and the Wings, already staggering after surrendering a 14-point lead, never saw daylight again. The Bucks' score would later record an 86-76 Golden State win, but every talk show caller and late-night tweet pinned the result to that single, mind-bending whistle. ESPN's game log shows Golden State outscoring Dallas 11-2 the rest of the way. The fall was the accelerant that torched the Wings' playoff hopes. Within minutes, worst call ever trended across X. Bro Bible's headline screamed, "Horrendous blown call proves WNBA officiating problem is even worse than we thought." Its clip, replayed in super slow motion, captured Hayes leaving her feet like a hurdler and Carrington bracing for impact a full stride inside the court's boundary.
Skylar's going down for a fast break layup. DiJonai winds up and smacks her across the head, and Skylar is on the ground having a hard time getting up. But this was something where people are saying, okay, DiJonai, this is happening a little bit too much for my liking. These hard fouls, these reckless plays are happening a little bit too much. And I want to show you guys one more play that was also in that game that actually injured Gabby Williams. Now, if you watch here, Gabby Williams is going up for a little mid-range jumper. DiJonai jumps to try to block her, and she comes down to where Gabby Williams doesn't have enough landing space. So she lands in her landing space, and then Gabby Williams rolls her ankle.
No amount of Zoom or Telestrator creativity could justify the whistle. Comment sections filled with phrases usually reserved for conspiracy forums. Twilight Zone, Parallel Universe, WNBX Files. Yet the outrage quickly mutated into something stranger. Celebration. Scroll deeper, and you found Giddy Schadenfreude. A top-voted Reddit post put it bluntly. Finally, the eye poker feels what Caitlin's been feeling all year. Memes of a masked Hayes labeled Justice racked up thousands of likes, while Carrington still shot, arms flailing, eyes wide, became the night's punchline. The subtext was impossible to miss. Fans weren't furious the whistle was wrong. They were thrilled it was wrong for her. That shift in tone, cheering an obvious injustice, didn't sprout overnight. It was the fruit of a year-long narrative starring Carrington as the league's newest heel.
Hayes does not look nor play like she's 35. Okay, she be bringing it to them girls each and every night. She got that, ain't going that face harness, okay, like to protect her face, her eyes, her nose, whatever that is. She be look like a dominatrix to me. I'd be like, bro, who is that? She looks like it's giving Scarecrow, like a Black Raven vibe, okay, like a hawk, and she looks like a bird of prey. Okay, and that's how she plays. She plays like a bird of prey, while the other girls in the court are just worms to her. Okay, they are bird food because she be cooking and eating everybody.
Last September, she clipped Caitlin Clark across the face during a playoff opener, leaving the rookie with a purple eyelid and a raft of think pieces about physicality versus dirty play. The league issued no flagrant, no fine. Clark downplayed it, but fans filed the memory under receipts. The file thickened fast. In January, Carrington's wrap-up swipe on Skylar Diggins-Smith drew blood and a flagrant, 2, later downgraded to a common foul on review. In March, she closed out too tight on Gabby Williams, landing in Williams' face and rolling the forward's ankle. Dallas media begged for discipline. The league office blinked. By spring, highlight reels of Carrington's greatest hits racked up more views than her actual buckets. Add her chirpy post-game quotes, "I play hard, period." And the villain mask practically glued itself on.
So once again, DiJonai Ratchet as Carrington is back at it again, being the dirty player that she is, man. So now we're pulling players to the floor by their hair. But what did we tweet earlier this week, everybody? Y'all fans swear I'm such a dirty player. I'm so over this narrative. But I just play hard as and I just make a play on the ball, and I'm tired of people calling me a dirty player.
So when Hayes detonated into her spine and the whistle flipped logic, the internet didn't see robbery. It saw poetic payback. Clips looped under captions like karma, 1, dirty 0. Even neutral observers admitted feeling a guilty thrill. One podcaster joked, "Has the ref been reading Reddit?" The moment became less about a playoff race and more about cosmic balance finally swinging the sword. Still, if you care about the health of professional basketball, the play should chill your spine. A league's credibility can't survive on selective justice. When reputation starts refereeing possessions, every result grows suspect. Players notice, coaches seethe, bettors flee. And fans? They morph from supporters into vigilantes, rooting for karma instead of fairness. But to understand how one whistle could carry this much moral baggage, you have to rewind the tape, back through eye pokes, rolled ankles, and a season-long officiating crisis that has everyone from rookies to the commissioner asking whether the WNBA can police its own game. That's where our story really begins. The myth-making really began September 25th, 2024, inside a packed Gainbridge fieldhouse. Rookie phenom Caitlin Clark had the fever humming when, on a routine curl, she caught a fingertip jab to the eye from DiJonai Carrington. Clark crumpled, blinking away tears. Refs swallowed the whistle. TV zoomed in on the swelling lid, and social quickly crowned the incident eye poke gate.
And was able to draw a foul. I'm like, what is this? I mean, she almost deleted freaking DiJonai. I thought, like, I was really gravely concerned for DiJonai Carrington's life and health. I'm like, did y'all not just see Tiffany Hayes just throw her body up against her and slam her to the ground? This is crazy. Literally slammed her. DiJonai Carrington got pushed into a freaking old white man's lap because of Tiffany Hayes jumping on her like she ain't got no sense.
Clark, ever diplomatic, waved off revenge. It was accidental. I'm good. But fans weren't good. They wanted accountability, and the league's silence felt deafening. From that moment, Carrington's hard-nosed rep metastasized into something darker. January 12th, a nationally televised game versus Seattle. She chased down Skylar Diggins-Smith on a breakaway and swung high, clipping Diggins' temple and sending her face first into the stanchion. Officials whistled a flagrant. 2. 24 hours later, the league office quietly downgraded it to a common foul, citing basketball motion. Protest lines jammed sports radio. YouTube compilations titled Carrington's Greatest Hits racked up 6-digit views. March brought another reel-worthy moment. Storm wing Gabby Williams elevated for a routine mid-range jumper. Carrington flew past, then landed inside Williams' cylinder, clipping her legs. Williams rolled her ankle, limped off, and later missed 2 weeks. Again, the refs kept the whistle in their pocket. Social media roasted the non-call with slow-mo clips labeled dirty in 48-point neon font. By spring, it wasn't just opposing fanbases talking. Analysts wondered aloud why a most improved candidate seemed to wield whistle immunity. Commentators compared her growing rap sheet with the league's tepid responses, and conspiracy theories, not entirely in jest, floated that she was protected because her aggressive edge drew ratings.
Is this? Look! Pulling players to the floor by their hair is not making plays on the ball. This is not basketball. WNBA. When is she gonna get fined, suspended, or kicked out of the league for this reckless behavior? This is the 4th incident. The Lynx incident, taking out Ariel Atkins, taking out Skylar Diggins, and now the LA Sparks. When is it gonna stop, man? When is accountability gonna be taken for her being the dirty player and ratchet that she is?
Each unpunished incident nudged neutral viewers toward outright hostility. Even Carrington's own words poured gasoline. After the Skylar foul, she tweeted, "Play hard or go home. Simple." The quote went viral, stripped of context, pasted atop every new collision gif. Soon, stadiums booed her pre-game introductions. An ex-assistant coach quipped to Hoops Daily, "Draymond Green energy, minus the 4 rings. Villain status achieved." Meanwhile, officiating itself was melting down. Games grew longer with reviews that somehow yielded less clarity. Coaches filed formal complaints. Players vented. Minnesota star Nafisa Collier didn't mince words. "Consistency is the biggest thing, and I think it's getting worse." Headlines warned of a credibility crisis as betting lines swung wildly on judgment calls. Pressure finally reached the 18th floor office of Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. In a hastily arranged July presser, she admitted, "We're exploring pathways to full-time officials and enhanced training," but offered no timeline. Pundits called it a band-aid on a compound fracture. All this brewed beneath the surface. When Dallas arrived in San Francisco for that late July showdown, Carrington entered averaging career highs, 14.5 points, 6.2 boards, but dragging a reputation so toxic even neutral refs might flinch. One columnist likened her presence to a storm cloud, electric, but every flash risks collateral damage. So when Tiffany Hayes bulldozed her, and the whistle pointed the wrong way, many fans felt the universe had finally checked the math. That's why social feeds flipped from outrage to applause in a heartbeat. Clips labeled "Karma Delivered" spread faster than the actual highlight pack. Meme makers cast Hayes as the Avenger's hammer, Carrington as the villain pulverized by its swing. The bizarre twist? Justice by reputation felt satisfying, and that satisfaction exposed an even uglier truth. Viewers trusted poetic payback more than the league's rulebook. And so the Wings' loss didn't just hurt their standings, it punctured the WNBA's promise of fairness. If whistles hinge on who's loved or loathed, no scoreboard is safe. Yet nothing about Carrington's rise to anti-hero status suggests a simple fix. She's still an elite on-ball defender, still the engine of Dallas's perimeter attack, and love her or hate her, still magnetic content every time the light hits the hardwood. The question now hanging over the league isn't merely whether refs will call the next elbow correctly.
Instead is Dallas ball. But do you know what another referee called? Do you know what another referee called? So one says it's Dallas ball. Another referee, as you can see right here, Salaun miss, Valkyries rebound. Apparently Tiffany Hayes got the rebound, and DiJonai fouled Tiffany Hayes. Apparently Tiffany Hayes got...
Its weather months of negligence have already taught fans to cheer mistakes. Can trust be rebuilt before the postseason spotlight widens every crack? The morning after the Hayes-Carrington collision, the standings told a blunt story. Dallas woke up at 8-19, scrambling in 7th place out west, 3 games adrift of the final play-in spot. The Valkyries, meanwhile, leapt to 13-13, a half step from overtaking Washington for 8th in the overall table. Our one whistle hadn't just swung a Tuesday night, it had carved a fault line through the playoff race. For the Wings, every defeat hits a double register, in the column and in the psyche of a roster already accused of chaos. 2 weeks earlier, head coach Chris Cocklane's publicly begged for clean slates and clean slates only, a not-so-subtle plea for officials to ignore reputations and judge plays in isolation. That quote circled back in memes after the Hayes foul, tagged, "How's the slate now?" Momentum, long and abstract, now felt like a debt Dallas couldn't pay, especially as rookie star Paige Bueckers piles up numbers, 18.2-5.5-4.5, with little to show for it besides a Rookie of the Year plaque.
I don't know which takes precedent. Oh, see, it's the hit the ball and then it's the pull back. They're showing it on the Jumbotron at a different angle that sort of looked like, watch after.
Doesn't matter. how many times DiJonai Carrington wants to get on her social media and want to claim that she's the victim and that she's not a dirty player. The league has rescinded fouls. Yeah, the league's rescinding flagrant fouls on you because it's run by a bunch of...
Golden State enjoyed the opposite karma wave. The expansion club, already a financial powerhouse with a $500 million valuation and a season ticket waitlist longer than some franchises' email subscribers, packaged the win into a sizzle reel that flooded socials by breakfast. Their own coach, Natalie Nakase, admitted post-game, "We stole one," then pivoted to a bigger issue. If the league wants to grow, the whistle has to grow with it. Reporters filed the clip under a swelling folder titled Officiating Crisis 2025. They're not exaggerating. Complaints hit from every corner. Brittany Sykes told ESPN during the All-Star break, "What frustrates me is when I feel dismissed trying to communicate errors." Fever coach Stephanie White blasted ref consistency after yet another Caitlin Clark collision. Bad officiating is bad officiating. And just hours before the Wings fiasco, Brittany Griner was tossed in Atlanta for brushing a ref she claimed had baited her with missed calls. The pattern is unmistakable, a league sprinting toward mainstream spotlight while its rule enforcers jog behind. Adam Silver's NBA found itself mocked by association. YouTube pundits milked thumbnails screaming, "Corrupt new refs exposed." The WNBA's hard-won viewership spike, up more than 50% on Amazon Prime and ESPN2, now risks being framed through slow-motion freeze frames of missed elbows. Inside locker rooms,
that call on DiJonai when Tiffany literally flew over her, wild. And then if you saw Paige's face when it was like, I think like 55 seconds left on the clock or something like that, and the coach was like giving them the next play, bruh.
the fallout feels even sharper. Several veterans privately told Sports Illustrated they've begun adjusting closeout angles to avoid Carrington calls, situations where even legal contact might be whistled because history lingers in an official's periphery. Coaches drill the mantra, hands high, heels outside the halo, then whisper the caveat, but be ready for weird. That uncertainty wrecks game plans and invites injuries, as players slow midair unsure how the landing will be judged. Front offices, too, are tallying the cost. Dallas owner Greg Bibb admitted during a radio hit that sponsors asked whether the franchise's tough image issue could dent marketability. Across the bay, Joe Lacob bragged that his Valkyries' spotless public persona helps explain record merch revenue. No small flex when Sportico projects they'll clear $70 million in year one. Branding is the invisible hand shaping whistle equity, and everyone knows it. Fans aren't waiting for league memos. They're policing the narrative themselves. Scroll any game thread and you'll see DIY ref grading charts, compilations of missed versus made, whistles, and calls for fines on officiating crews. One Facebook rant with 25,000 reactions demanded refs pay players after blown calls. The noise is loud enough that sportsbooks have quietly tightened WNBA live betting limits, a move insiders link directly to volatility in the last 2 minutes of games. Commissioner Engelbert cannot claim surprise. In her July presser, she dangled full-time officials as a near-future solution, but insiders say the hiring pipeline is shallow and the CBA rewrite required could take another season. Fans, meanwhile, want action last week. The gap between promise and practice widens every missed whistle, and social media's algorithm loves the chaos. Which circles back to DiJonai Carrington, the eye of the storm. She did nothing wrong on that sideline shield. The film is crystal, yet her history rewrote reality in real time. The viral clip teaches an unmistakable lesson. Reputation is gravity. Even the rules bend. That is terrifying for any competitor hoping championships are earned, not voted by public perception. Dallas next faces Atlanta at home. Local media frame it as a must-get-right before a brutal East Coast swing. Valkyries fly to DC for a clash with the Mystics, a team they're chasing in the table. A win flips playoff seeds. Every possession will be magnified, every whistle dissected, every fan ready to yell karma or corrupt, depending on who falls. The league's marketing motto this season is raise every voice. After the Hayes-Carrington fiasco, Plenty of voices are raised, just not in harmony. The next month will test whether the WNBA can orchestrate those cries into constructive change, or whether the crescendo becomes a cacophony that drowns out the game itself. The league's brass could ignore the noise when it was just angry quote tweets. They can't ignore it now that every column inch between Seattle and Miami spells out the same two words: fix officiating.
The rebound and got fouled by jumping on DiJonai Carrington.
As everyone else has seen this angle, I'm calling her in and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
Cowards. They're flagrant fouls. They're dirty plays. They're trashy plays. Someone's going to get very physically injured. At this point, DiJonai Carrington, forget about it. You won't beat these allegations.
ESPN opened its All-Star break coverage with a banner headline: "Scrutiny reaches boiling point," as coaches, superstars, and rookies lined up to question whistle consistency. The timing was brutal. Viewership is up, sponsorships are bigger, and yet the highlight reels people share most aren't ankle-breaking crossovers. They're freeze frames of refs pointing the wrong way. So Commissioner Kathy Engelbert finally blinked. 1 week after the Dallas Golden State debacle, she announced a pilot program. 8 officials will be moved onto full-time year-round contracts, with mandatory quarterly evaluations and a centralized replay hub in Secaucus, mirroring the NBA's nerve center. It's a start, but players say the patch is already too small for a widening tier. Fever guard Sophie Cunningham, fresh off a $500 fine for a TikTok mocking at some refs, fired back on social. Love the pilot. Love it more when we can trust every whistle. The union is sharpening its leverage. With a new CBA on the horizon, veterans walked out of all-star meetings branding negotiations a missed opportunity. Code 4. We can hold the season hostage. Their wish list is blunt. Independent review board for flagrant downgrades. Transparent last 2-minute reports within 24 hours, not 48. Clear suspension matrix. Repeat dangerous play equals automatic game ban. Expansion of full-time ref pool to at least 30 by 2027, funded by the league's surging media deal. Money should no longer be the barrier. Proof? The Golden State Valkyries just set a record $500 million valuation 6 months into existence, double the league average. If one expansion team can attract that cash, the WNBA can fund a referee corps that doesn't need day jobs during the winter. Yet rulebook tweaks alone won't erase the Carrington effect. Refs are human. Bias, conscious or not, creeps in the second reputation walks onto the floor, which drops the next decision squarely on DiJonai Carrington herself. Her options: lean into the heel, double down on the I play hard brand, sell jerseys to haters, accept that every close call could cost her team games, and maybe millions in endorsements. Rebrand, hire a PR veteran, cut a video apology to every opponent she's hammered, pledge to lead a players-only summit on sportsmanship, dominate with discipline, and maybe the whistle tide turns. Fight fire with evidence. She's reportedly compiling a reel of non-calls she's absorbed, planning to present it at the union's CBA caucus, as proof that bias works both directions. If the footage lands, she becomes a case study in how perception skews officiating. Dallas management quietly prefers Door 2. Sponsors have asked whether her edge is marketable or radioactive. A team...
That might be... that is the worst call I've ever seen in basketball. That is actually the worst call I've ever seen in basketball. She just jumped through her. She knew. It is what it is. People will shield or get in the way of the ball and stand there. She just jumped over the back. Worst case scenario, it's an over the back foul. Worst case scenario, it's an over the back. It is at least a foul on Tiffany Hayes, if not a flagrant.
Source says they're encouraging Carrington to spend the offseason at the NBA's officiating clinic, learning the ref's vantage point to recalibrate her closeouts. It's the same program that helped Draymond Green trim his tech count after 2018. Fans, meanwhile, hold the biggest lever. They already proved they can bend narratives. Cheering a blown whistle showed the league exactly how fragile its credibility is. The next step is choosing what to amplify. Highlights of perfect footwork or loops of face-swatting mayhem. Algorithms go where attention flows. If supporters hammer the league every time replay exposes an injustice, no matter the jersey color, accountability becomes culture, not crisis. The stakes arrive fast. The Wings' next 5 games, Atlanta, at Connecticut, at New York, Chicago, Washington. Drop 3, and their season's effectively over. The Valkyries face a mirror gauntlet. Mystics, Liberty, Sun, Mercury, and could leap into a first-round home court slot with a hot week. Every contest will be refereed under a microscope, so intense it could melt graphite. One more Carrington call, and the pilot program press release will read like lip gloss on a cracked windshield. And that's the tipping point. Reform or ruin. The WNBA is a rocket, ratings soaring, valuations smashing glass ceilings, teenage hoopers wearing Clark and Stewart tees to AAU tournaments. But rockets need guidance systems, otherwise they veer off course and burn up on re-entry.
Will not. Of course they're rescinding the fouls. That's what this league does. All right? Look, people can tell the difference between physical play and dirty play. And now there's a laundry list of evidence. Look, at this point, DiJonai Carrington should have been suspended, fined multiple times over. Of course they will. Now we're gonna hit you with a flagrant, and then behind the scenes we're cool. We're cool. We're gonna rescind the flagrant.
The guidance here is fair officiating, rules applied evenly, reputations left at the door, injuries prevented because defenders know exactly how close is too close. Carrington's phantom foul has become the cautionary tale everyone can see on repeat. The next chapter depends on whether league leaders, refs, players, and yes, the comment section army choose to let that caution harden into real change. Will full-time officials and transparent reviews silence conspiracies? Will players police their own rough edges before the whistle ever blows? One thing's certain, karma is a fun headline, but it's a lousy officiating policy. Justice shouldn't arrive by accident. It should arrive on time, every night, wearing a whistle that nobody questions. So, viewers, your turn. When the next crunch time collision flashes across your feed, pause before you cheer or boo. Ask whether the call matched the rulebook, not the highlight tape from 6 months ago. Because every reaction teaches the algorithm and the league what we value. And in a sport fighting for mainstream respect, the value of fair play might be the ticket that launches the WNBA from fast-growing to unstoppable. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, can the league fix the whistle, or will reputation keep rewriting the scoreboard?